offended in one way or another. I just gave this presentation a couple of nights ago, and I was all over the place. My mind was everywhere. And it's probably going to be like that now, but I'm going to try to keep it fairly concise and rather a summary than in my whole life story. I have to thank Richard, Elaine, Ian, Salias, and of course Judy for doing this wonderful job and lending a hand and putting it all together. I would have loved to have been here for the setup, but I live up north in the woods, and after bringing the sculptures in here and speaking with Judy where they were sort of thinking of putting things, I was quite confident that this was going to work out good. It worked out well. I used to teach, can you believe that?
Not English.
Anyway, I had to have cheat notes here. When you look around these pieces, I don't really think it tells you much about me, but it does. Because all of my life has been made up of three things. Not wine, women, and song, no. It's been art, sports, and women. Okay? But if you look around, you can see the influence of art, of sports, and women. Because part of my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the pieces are figurative pieces, of which one is only male and the others are female. So that should tell you something. The other thing is that how does sports fit into this whole thing? Well, ever since I was a little kid, sports was my life. So was art. And I'll tell you, I was in grade 5. Our first real organized physical education class, and the guy jumped up on a parallel bar. This was the teacher. He jumped up on a parallel bar and he did a routine. And I looked at it and I said, whoa, he gets to play and he gets paid for it. That's what I'm going to do. And I just always wanted to be a phys ed teacher, right? But I always did art as well. And as a matter of fact, there are a number of people here who I know through the gymnastics world. That was my previous life. I don't do that anymore, but I coach some of these people. And I had a question here this morning from this young lady. I'm sorry? Brian. And I said to her, she asked me about how was the transition from coaching gymnastics to doing art for sculpture, because I was doing art way before anyway. Sculpture has only been in my life about 25 years now. But it was very, very natural. When I got my hands onto working with stone, which was not a mistake, it was just one of those things that happened serendipitously. And the transition was very easy. Because when you are a gymnastics coach, you're always aware of what your athlete looks like from the other side. Because there are 4 judges, or there used to be 4 judges in every corner. And when you see your athlete only from one side, you have to know what he looks like from the other side to the judges. And gymnastics is an aesthetic, a highly aesthetic sport. As a matter of fact, at the Olympic level, it's called artistic gymnastics. So when I started to work with stone, I could do anything I wanted to do with the stone, and the stone did not complain like my gymnasts. They'd go, oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. I can put a leg up there with stone, and there's no complaint. Right? So that was really cool. And even today, I have students that come in and they don't know what the other side's going to look like. It's not so much that they don't know what the other side looks like, but they don't understand the transition from one side to the other. Whereas to me, that's a natural thing. Anyway, how does sports have another influence? Well, sports is all about movement. And it's also about efficient movement. And it's also, I used to say to my art students when I was teaching that Wayne Gretzky is an artist. He's very, very creative. He moves smoothly and fluidly. And to me, that's what my work is. I want it to look smooth and fluid and continuous, and I want you to be able to touch it. So please, don't hesitate to touch any of the work in here. I switched very early in my career as a sculptor. I switched to very hard stone because that's one of the things I want you to be able to do. To me, it isn't just about looking, it's about feeling, right? And it's about a smooth flow and a transition from one to another, and it's about relationships. And that's where my sports background and my art background come together. As a matter of fact, about 4 months of the year, I ski, and I teach skiing. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the smoothest and freest type of movement. And it's fluid, it's easy. So my stonework and my work that I do on the snow is very, very, very similar. Okay? There are two people here that aren't here that I would love to have thanked, but I ran into two different people early on in my career as a teacher. One of them was an art teacher in Scarborough, and he got me introduced, and I wanted to teach art as well as physical education. I was lucky. I got to teach two things that I loved, two ways of playing. I got paid for it. Didn't get rich, but my life is rich. But these two people, the first person, some of you may have come across him, John Bevington, he gave me a structure for art, for teaching art. And the other person, also a Scarborough educator by the name of Bill Statton, he, later on in my career, gave me the opportunity to really pursue what I wanted to do. One of them was going up to art camp. If anybody here knows the Scarborough school system, we had an amazing art camp. And it gave both the students that went there, Amy here was one of the students that went to art camp. Richard, did you go to art camp?
Yes.
And Richard went to art camp too. You worked with professional artists. And that really rubbed off on me because here I saw some internationally and nationally known artists that, oh, by the way, Rhonda, she was one of the teachers up there as well. It gave me something by which I could measure my own work, because I found that a real, truly professional artist, their work was exquisitely finished. It wasn't haphazardly done, it was finished. And that's always stuck with me. So, I've lost my train of thought. Everybody's looking. What are you going to say next? All right. So, this whole thing, where did I come up with this title for this show? Well, offhand, mind, and soul. When I thought about it, I'm thinking, okay, so the hand part is what I actually do, the mind is what puts it together, and the soul is where it comes from. And it really should be almost the other way around. It's my soul and my heart tells me how I wish to express myself. The mind puts it together in a way that I can organize those feelings, and my hands produce it. Now, I just read a quote a couple of weeks ago, and it said, someone who works with their hand is a laborer, and someone who works with their hands and mind is a craftsman, and someone who works with their hands and mind and soul is an artist. Right? And this was after I came up with my title, and I'm thinking, wow, this is really neat. Somebody else thinks the same way I do. And I plan to continue with this, even though my wife, me over here, keeps telling me, when are you going to stop this? This is, you know, that piece right there beside my dear son Mark. I would say that in total it probably weighs 300 pounds. And at this point in time, the top part, the trees, weighs about 120 pounds. Well, I can't lift it by myself anymore. I have to get my neighbor in to come and help me straighten it out. We spend a whole afternoon just doing this 10 times to fit it. Well, after 10 times of lifting 120 pounds, it's like having a workout. Right? But I enjoy it. So, when you look at these pieces, I want you to touch them. I really do. Because in a way, it's part of me. And those of you, and there's some of you here who have pieces of my work, just remember when you touch it, you feel the same way I did when I touched it. And it's part of me. My wife said to me last night, well, you shouldn't say that, because there's not me. Well, I know about that. I guess I better stop sulking. Again, thank you very much for coming, and if you have any questions and you can corner me, by all means do. Thank you.